All right, everyone. Welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Monday, November 13th, 2017. And this video is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to this channel, definitely check out the link down below. We're using the actual size of the constellations called Sidereal Astrology. All right, so today we have the moon going into Virgo, which was the location of the last new moon. And so the ending phase of this lunar cycle. As we go through the week, there is more of this lowered energy, really good for receptivity, listening, connecting, clearing some space for some new beginnings, which will be during the upcoming new moon. But Virgo today is about feeling perhaps a bit meticulous, maybe a bit perfection-oriented. Does make it a really good day for improving things, finding solutions to problems, fixing things, organizing. This type of stuff can be great. It can really help us feel emotionally rooted when we are connecting to life on that level. So today has a bit of mixed energy. We have two aspects taking place, one that is easy, one that is more challenging. Venus is conjoining up to Jupiter today. So when it comes to our relationships, there can be a bit of inspiration, a bit of hopefulness, maybe even some opportunity, in fact, in that area for some of us. And yeah, just learning more about what we value in relationships and what we value in general, and a bit of that hopefulness can be very good in that department. Now, Mercury is squaring Neptune, so that's the challenging aspect of the day. There could be perhaps some non-clarity, some uncertainty, some doubts perhaps if we're trying to figure things out, especially if it pertains to the future. But there is, of course, a constructive way of working with that, which is about letting go of what we don't have control over, which we'll look at. So let's go and look at all of this here in more detail. All right, so let's start with the moon here. You can see the moon is transitioning into Virgo here today. And this will be the head of Virgo for most of the day, which is, again, more of the mental side of things in terms of detail-oriented, pragmatism, wanting to, figure how things can work, how things can fit, be organized, perfected. So really good for this. And I always recommend with Virgo energy, which we still have a lot of. Mars is still here. Venus and Jupiter are conjoining at the bottom of Virgo, suggesting that it's a really good time for self-improvement, right? Really, really good for this. Really focusing on what we do have control over, which is essentially ourself, right? Our improvement, how we respond to things, this type of stuff, right? So growth, development, excellent with Virgo. So let's talk about just a quick recap here. Since it's Monday, we do have the sun in Libra still. And so this is still a great time to be focusing on relationships anyways, along with this conjunction we'll talk about. But this side of relationships, really seeing how we can give and take, cooperate, find some harmony with others, focus on what's right, what's equal, what's just, and even what's moral, right? With Libra, it's the balance, it's the scales. And also seeing if there are any areas of your life that maybe are out of balance. It's an excellent time for bringing those areas back into balance. So Mercury is, of course, in Scorpio still. So our minds are definitely in the underground in the sense that we could be thinking deeply about things. And for that reason, expressing ourselves deeply, communicating things deeply. At least there's an opening for that. It's important with Scorpio that, we may notice the walls come up, right? It's not easy to get deep and vulnerable in life. But letting those walls come down when it comes to our perspective, when it comes to our communication, I think can be excellent. All right, so let's look at these two aspects we've got today. Venus over Jupiter and Mercury squaring Neptune. So with this conjunction with Venus, very nice day for relationships. I think there's just generally a lot to learn. Jupiter tends to give us a bit of wisdom. And so we could be learning about relationships. We could be learning about what we value generally in life. But with Jupiter, typically does come a bit of inspiration. So depending on how you're feeling this and depending on your chart, and this is happening in Virgo, so it likely is a bit more on that reserved side of things with relationships as it has been. Still, nonetheless, a bit of inspiration. So with that, We can have a bit of luck here in this area, right? Connecting, enjoying relationships. Like I said, some of us might be forming some new relationships. And this isn't just romantic either. It could be business relationships or other types. But just this open-mindedness gives us a bit of opportunity and a bit of luck that we may normally not see because we're not aware of it. But Jupiter gives us that awareness, gives us that wisdom, and for that reason can inspire us in this area. So very good for connecting, very good for enjoying things as well. Venus is also the material life. So again, seeing what we value perhaps on a material level and being grateful for what we have and enjoying what we have can make it great. So let's talk about this square to Mercury and Neptune, because this mixed energy will be involved. And when it comes to our mind, there may perhaps be a bit of non-clarity, right? Maybe a bit of a haze even, an uncertainty, a doubt perhaps, depending on how you're feeling this. So it doesn't necessarily mean there will be this. This is just what happens when we try to figure things out. We have Mercury, the planet of figuring things out, thinking basically, squaring up to Neptune, which is not thinking, not having things figured out, right? So a bit of a clash here. And I think the best way of working with this is through embodying the Neptune side of it, embodying the willingness to let go, the willingness to surrender, the willingness to have uncertainty in our life. And that's, of course, very challenging for us to do as human beings. But if there's anything you can do in terms of meditation, in terms of relaxation techniques, prayer, right, having faith even, all of this stuff that really helps you get into the present moment can be great. And I do recommend being aware of the mind if the mind is wanting to create dreams or illusions or hide away even through those illusions and things like that. Bringing extra conscious attention to the mind in the now moment can help balance that out. All right, so, but it can, as a result, be a very constructive day for spiritual activities, and then again, bringing in more of this receptive nature into our life. So as a backdrop, we do have the moon forming a T-square with Chiron and Saturn. I think this will be more of an undercurrent, and this could just be how we're feeling. I think with a bit of that Virgo meticulous energy, there could be perhaps a bit of restriction with the feelings and maybe some wounds coming up. It's possible. So same sort of thing, bringing some extra attention to the feelings, present moment awareness can really help balance this out. And if there is anything you can do today to be patient, maybe see the big picture, the long term, have a bit of that self-discipline, could be a good way of working with that T-square. All right, so a lot going on for a daily actually, but generally excellent day for learning about relationships and inspiring and using that inspiration. You know, Jupiter by himself doesn't really do anything, but if we embody it in our life, if we pursue it, if we tap into a bit of that adventurousness, it can be very good for relationships and values. Square to Mercury and Neptune, that uncertainty doesn't have to be, and what is actually trying to take place is more presence in our life. So aligning with that can be great. And again, we are ending this last cycle. So the energies are dying down as we approach the new moon. So getting in touch with, I think, the more receptive stuff is great anyways. All right, so have a great day, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all very soon for tomorrow's forecast. Take care.